And a good Sunday morning from Dick Puts Field on the Municipal Athletic Complex from St. Cloud, Minnesota. Two teams representing one city, but bragging rights are on the line for the VFW State Tournament Baseball Championship. Coming to you live here on a sun-drenched field. It is a Sunday morning that will provide more excitement than not here with this contest between Cold Spring Post 69-15 15s versus the 16s. One team has to win twice, that being the 16-year-olds taking on the 15-year-olds out of the championship bracket who just have to win one and capture the first state championship. That will be for the first time since 2008 that Cold Spring has brought home a title to their city. Good morning. My name is Paul Vold, coming to you live here from Dick Puts Field on behalf of the Minnesota VFW department and, of course, Bitstream Digital Media. Brian and Donna Lommel today, making sure that we can bring you this broadcast. We have plenty in store for this matchup that provides two teams with similar backgrounds, so much so that they'll probably be bragging to each other, the winner of this tournament, at football practice next week and in the hallways in just about 5 weeks' time. But before we talk about today's contest of between the Cold Spring 15s versus the 16s, we have a special presentation from the state commander from the Minnesota Veterans of Foreign Wars. We got a chance to speak with him on the field before today's contest. We will bring you that interview here in just a moment.
Projects for the children. We donate money to different projects in the state of Minnesota for children's organizations and veterans organizations. Our main goal is to support the veterans.
And of course, with the VA medical centers, we've got some VFW homes as well. They're going to be tuning into, of course, the broadcast here today. If people want to get more information, of course, with the VFW and everything, where can they access that information?
They can call VFW State Headquarters. It's in St. Paul.
All right, we appreciate your time here. Charles Hawkins Sr. with, of course, the state commander for VFW Minnesota. And, sir, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Welcome back here, folks. Once again, to Dick Puts Field, the site of the state championship for the VFW state tournament here in Minnesota for the sport of baseball. As we're joined alongside here, Charles Hawkins Sr., the state commander for VFW. And, sir, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you very much for asking me.
Of course. One of the things we want to talk about here with your role as state commander, obviously we've got a great matchup here today, but tell us a little bit about what you do with the VFW.
Well, I'm state commander of Veterans of Foreign Wars here in Minnesota. The reason why I'm here today is to support the students and the baseball team.
Absolutely, and of course we've got this great matchup against Cold Spring as well, but beyond, of course, baseball and with the Veterans for Foreign Wars as too with the VFW, I'm sure there are some other projects and things that are coming up here that also could use a little bit of information on.
Yes, we have the Voice of Democracy Patriots Pen celebration. We have that going on also during school. We have Voice, as I said, Voice of Democracy. We have Cooties, that's a special unit at the VFW. We have other units also.
Absolutely, and of course with all the other things that go along with the VFW, of course just beyond our left field wall here is the VA hospital and all the assistance that is available to the VFW. Of course there are much more information they can get out of besides, of course, with more information about the VA medical centers as well.
Yes, we got two VA medical centers. We got one here in St. Cloud. We got one downtown in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
And of course with the, go right ahead, sir.
Some other programs we have also is the Poppy program we have every year. We have other things like that also, school projects for the children. We donate money to different projects in the state of Minnesota for children's organizations and veterans organizations. Our main goal is to support the veterans.
And of course with the VA medical centers, we've got some VFW homes as well. They're going to be tuning into, of course, the broadcast here today. If people want to get more information, of course, with the VFW and everything, where can they access that information?
They can call VFW State Headquarters. It's in St. Paul.
All right, we appreciate your time here. Charles Hawkins Sr. with, of course, the state commander for VFW Minnesota. And, sir, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And a big thank you once again to State Commander for the VFW, that being Wayne Hawkins Sr., Charles Hawkins Sr., my apologies there, for the great comments that he had about the VFW Minnesota, his role as State Commander as well. The VFW Department Baseball, 62 teams across 56 VFWs sponsoring throughout the summer, but it only is 2 teams left and 1 VFW being represented here today between the Cold Spring 16s against the Cold Spring 15-year-olds. Now, the way this will work out here today, the Cold Spring 16-year-olds coming out of the bracket that had them losing their first contest, they have to win twice today in order to claim the state championship, while the Cold Spring 15-year-olds, if they win the first game, they will be state champions for the first time since 2008. But of course, they have had representation going back all the way to 2022 when they were in the state championship game against Foley. But that game actually getting moved away over towards the likes of an interesting story talking with the 16-year-olds head coach, the championship that took place back in 2022. That game was originally supposed to be down in Austin, but with a huge rainstorm rolling through, Foley and Cold Spring actually moved over towards the MAC here to play that championship game. But we are actually going to step aside for a moment. Introductions of both teams taking place, and then our national anthem will also be coming your way here, and then we'll get you those starting lineups here. For the VFW State Tournament Championship, it's Cold Spring, first Cold Spring here from Dick Putz Field at the VFW State Baseball Tournament.
Batting third and pitching, number 23, Logan Adams. Batting fourth and playing second base, number 16, Christian Ferguson. Batting fifth and playing first base, number 21, Noah Stahlberger. Batting sixth and designated hitter, number 9, Dane Ziher. Batting seventh, playing right field, number 3, Carter Simon. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, number 10, Tyson Zahar. Batting ninth and playing center field, number 5, Jax Hohenstein. And also playing left field is number 11, Gabe Fredine. The coach of the Cold Spring 16s is Aaron Schneider, with assistant coaches Jeff Ellis and Kyle Leiser. And now, here's the starting lineup for the Cold Spring 15s, the designated home team. Reserve players are number 6, Carter Kramer. Number 17, Bentley Platts. Number 3, Reese Fleckenpool. Number 13, Charlie Williams. And now the starting lineup for the 15s. Batting first and playing third base, number 4, Crew Rugemeyer. Batting second, playing center field, number 9, Nolan Crone. Batting third, playing first base, number 22, Davis Works. Batting fourth and pitching, number 7, Braden Holhouse. Batting fifth, playing shortstop, number 1, Easton Rossman. Batting sixth and pitching, number 2, Lincoln Lutkin. Batting seventh, playing second base, number 21, Easton Hess. Batting eighth, playing left field, number 8, Gavin Roche. And batting ninth, playing right field, number 10, Jameson Van Loy. The 16s are coached by Aaron Schneider with assistant coaches Jeff Lisser. Fans posting today's colors will be the representatives of Sauk Rapids Post 6992. We ask you to please rise if you're able and remove your caps. remain standing as we honor our country and those who defend our freedom with the playing of our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. Please remain standing until the color guard has exited the stadium. Thank you. Fans, at this time, it is an honor to announce the Department Commander of the VFW, Charles Hawkins Sr., who will throw out the ceremonial first pitch of today's game. Thank you.
I couldn't hear what you're saying. Welcome back here to Dick Putz Field on the Municipal Athletic Complex from St. Cloud, Minnesota. All our pomp and circumstance leading up to first pitch between the Cold Spring 15s against the Cold Spring 16s for state and also city supremacy within each program as we get a look here at both starting lineups. We'll start with the visiting team, that being the Cold Spring 16s. Number 14 is the third baseman in Cooper Notch. Number 2 is the catcher Ethan Hellerman. Number 23 is the pitcher Logan Adams against number 16, the second baseman Christian Bergeson, while 21 is the first baseman in Noah Stahlberger. In the DH spot at number 6, that is number 9, Dane Zier. He is hitting for the left fielder, number 11 in Gabe Fredine. Number 3 is the right fielder in Carter Simon. Number 10 is the shortstop. He is in the number 8 spot in the order. That is Tyson Zahar. And also number 5 in the 9 spot is the center fielder, Jax Hohenstein. Get a look here at the lineup on the other side for the home team. The Cold Spring 15s who have yet to drop a game in this state tournament. Number 4 is the third baseman and crew Rugemer. Well, number 9 is the center fielder Nolan Crone. 22 is the first baseman Davis Wirtz. Number 7 in the cleanout spot is the catcher in Braden Holthouse. And also in the 5 spot is number 1, the shortstop Easton Rossman. Number 2 is the pitcher Lincoln Lutkin, while also number 21, the second baseman Easton Hess. Number 8 is the left fielder Gavin Roush, and number 10 is the right fielder Jamison Van Loy. Three-man umpiring crew here on a beautiful Sunday morning, soon to be afternoon. Little bit of a breeze that has picked up since we first arrived here at Dick Putz Field. Flag over the left center wall, kind of blowing in from right center. Leading off will be Cooper Notch, Ethan Hellerman, and Logan Adams against Lincoln Lutkin, who has gotten the bulk of the work at shortstop to open up the tournament. But he will toe the rubber here as he kicks and fires towards home plate, pulling back a bunt and called for a strike. First pitch in at 11:03, just a tad behind, but we'll make up for it here with the prowess of these two teams and how they play on both sides of the ball. An 0-1 count to Cooper Notch is in there just at the belt and a little bit high, even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Notch pulled back a squared-up bunt attempt here on the first pitch, drawing in the ire of Cole Rugemer over at the Crew Rugemer, I should say, fouling off the pitch at 1-2, the count over at third base. Now with 2 strikes on Notch, they'll pull back Rugemer just a tad here. Umpires at both baselines with the home plate umpire in the mix as well. Notch crouches down just a little bit more than his usual stance, down and away to even it at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Both these teams here, of course, extremely similar with the fact that they like to attack early and also set things up with getting guys on base and trying to move them over at the bunt. The 2-2 popped up foul and out of play, might be heading towards the parking lot most likely, and will keep it at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Defensive alignment here for the 15s does include Holthouse behind the plate with Lutkin on the mound here. The 2-2 delivery into Notch is up and in to bring it full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. On the infield, Rugemer at third, Rossman at short, Hess at second with Wirtz over at first base. The payoff pitch from Lutkin is fouled off once again. Hit a bevy of foul balls here on the first batter of the game, and hopefully they rub down a few extra baseballs in anticipation of this matchup. In the outfield, Roush, Crone, and Van Loy from left to right. The payoff pitch back once again. Ground ball, third base side, 1 hop over to Rugemer. He'll fire over to first to Wirtz in time for the first out of the contest. Gonna look here at the replay as well. And a big thank you once again for people tuning in across the state from the VA medical centers here in St. Cloud and down in the Twin Cities, also across the veterans' homes across the state. Thank you so much for tuning in to these broadcasts throughout the tournament. In for a strike on Hellerman, his first plate appearance, and Lutkin starts him off with a strike. Going righty-righty matchup early on, back-to-back right-handed hitters. As the 0-1 bounced over to the third on the short hop, picked up by Rugemer over at first in time, back-to-back 5-3 putouts. Makes it 2 outs in the top of the first inning. Now we'll see Logan Adams will try to help himself out in the battle of pitchers here today. Now, a slight distinct difference between the two programs as well, both being with Cold Spring. The 15-year-olds in the grays with the stripes going across the chest and abdomen area, while the 16s go with the Cold Spring in the red pinstripes. 1-0 count on Logan Adams. A little bit miscommunication to who is going to get that ball behind home plate. 1-0 delivery on its way. Popped up between left and center, both going towards it. Looks like the left fielder in Roush will make the catch for the third out of the inning. A 1-2-3, top of the first inning. Cold Spring 15s are on their way to the plate. We'll bring that coming to your way here in the bottom of the first here from the VFW State Tournament in St. Cloud. Welcome back here to Dick Putz Field in St. Cloud. Bottom of the first inning, VFW State Baseball Tournament. The Cold Spring 15s taking on the Cold Spring 16s. As the 15s will come to the plate with Crew Rugemer, Nolan Crone, and Davis Wirtz. 1, 2, 3 against Logan Adams, who will fill up the mound area as the throw down to second base will be thrown down, as it will be out on the field here defensively. Of course, Logan Adams on the mound with Hellerman behind the plate. Infield from third to first, Notch, Zahar, and then also Bergeson and Stahlberger over at first. Outfield alignment will be Fredin in left, Hohenstein in center, and Simon out in right field. Crew Rugemer will start things off here in the bottom of the first inning. Adams gets the sign that he wants with the high leg kick that he'll kick and fire towards home plate. In for a strike to fire things off here with an 0-1 count to Rugemer. Rugemer got his day started quite fancifully over at third base. A couple of ground outs, right center field. This one might drop in, but a nice running catch from Simon out in right field for the first out of the bottom of the first inning. Hat goes flying, showing off the bleach blonde locks of Carter Simon. We'll get our first lefty of the day in the process. Get a look at that replay. Had it the whole way. Wind kind of blowing in. At least it was to start, but now it's gone stagnant with that flag out in left center. Crone's first plate appearance of the day. First lefty we've seen today as well. Handcuffs the catcher and kicks towards the third base dugout. 1-0 count to Crone. Davis Wirtz scheduled to bat right after as he waits on deck. Another lefty scheduled to bat here is the 1-0, elevated around the shoulder blade area, now makes it 2-0. Outfield playing just a hair or two in from where they would normally be positioned. Notch over at third base, just in front of the third base bag, a little off the line. As Adams 2-0, just over the head and just fouls, fighting for life on that pitch to split the difference at 2 balls and a strike as Crone was looking the other way. That pitch up and in, defensive swing from Crone. Now makes it 2 balls and 1 strike as Adams looks into his catcher and Hellerman for the sign. He'll get the one that he wants. He'll rock and fire towards home, up and away. Quite sure if that one went off the glove there or just, again, miscommunication behind home plate. I don't know if the glove quite tight enough there. Hellerman takes a peek at that glove just to make sure everything's all right. Keep an eye on that as this game progresses. A 3-1 count now for Crone as either side looking for their first base run of the day. The 3-1 from Adams bounced in. It'll be a walk. First base runner of the day belongs to the Cold Spring 15s. And it'll bring up Davis Wirtz to home plate. Wirtz also a lefty, 1 out. Bottom of the first here. Seen a few times already here this tournament. Cold Spring, even with a man on and 1 out, they'll still put down the sacrifice, and you can't rule this out. One giant game of chess today. Which coaching staff and players can outsmart the opponent? This one just off the plate, says our home unplayed umpire. 1-0 the count on Wirtz. Gets the signs down over at third base. Short lead over at first for Crone. Holding from the stretch. Kicks and fires towards home. This one a strike there. Delayed on the advance there as 1 ball and 1 strike as Wirtz saw it in, but Crone got past the grass cutout over at first base. Quick peek over at first there from Adams as he looks in for a sign. Holds back at the set position. Fires towards home. Line drive and well foul. Got out in front of it to 1 ball and 2 strikes. That one might be heading towards the road area. Bounced off the sidewalk to say the least. Good crowd on hand as well here today. I would hate to be the person that drew the short stick that had to stay in Cold Spring to turn off all the lights. Snap throw over to first. Back in safely is Crone. Wirtz chokes up on the bat a little bit more for control, even with 2 strikes on him. Hopefully to put the ball in play. Fouled off once again. Nearing at least a half dozen baseballs fouled out of play already here through 1 inning. We'll see a lot of that here with the play of these two programs that want to extend at-bats and fight for every pitch. Short lead again over at first for Crone. The 1-2 from Adams, up and away. Evens it at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Another long look in for the pitcher in Adams. Takes a peek in. Kicks and fires again, up and away. Can't quite get in front of the breaking ball. Brings the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Wirtz putting on an at-bat here to at least create something for the man on deck waiting in Braden Holthouse. Holding from the set is Adams. Runner takes, fouled off. Goes off the top of the broadcast booth. Did it roll back? I don't think so. Might have taken a ricochet and rolled right back out. I heard it hit something. As the runner was taking off on the 3-2. A little hit and run there as Wirtz did his part and at least made contact with the ball, but unfortunately did not put it in play. Adams once again, the 3-2 runner stays. Down and away, back-to-back walks. As the 15s will have 2 men on and 1 out. Braden Holthouse coming to the plate. Quick conversation to take place here with Hellerman and Notch. They'll visit their pitcher just real quick, make sure everything's all right, make sure we're on the same page here for this ball that should be put in play. Still just 1 ground ball away from getting out of the inning. The way the last couple of at-bats have gone, with 3 ball counts and a pair of walks, we'll be able to settle down maybe just a touch, maybe some of the nerves starting to kick in, or at least a little bit of excitement with this matchup here today. Hard to tell here from most of the fans adorned in red. Here to see good baseball and also enjoy, of course, what this means for the program. For the Cold Spring VFW, first pitch on its way, popped up, center field coming in as it's going to stay on the infield. Infield fly real cold as it was popped up to the second baseman in Hess for the first out of the inning. To Bergeson on the infield for the second out of the inning. As Rossman will come to the plate with 2 men on and 2 outs. Crone at second, Wirtz over at first after working back-to-back walks, and that pop-up on the infield. Adams kicks and fires, gets away from the catcher, but between the legs, so everybody stays put. A 1-0 start here with Lincoln Lutkin waiting on deck. For Adams here, he definitely would like to get out of the inning before facing his pitching counterpart with men on base. Takes a peek back at second. Everybody going to keep their runners as close as they can be before the shortstop moves back. Lined out to center field, drifting back, still going back. Now we'll settle under it. Will Hohenstein and make the catch for the third out of the inning. The 15s were threatening, but come up empty. 1 inning in the books, 0-0 our score from the VFW State Tournament in St. Cloud. We'll be back here, top of the second, on its way with our friends from Bitstream Digital Media. A 1-2-3, top of the first inning for the Cold Spring 16s. We'll bring up Christian Bergeson, Noah Stahlberger, and Dane Zeyer as they will be scheduled to bat here against Lincoln Lutkin after a threat from the 15s in the bottom of the first that came up empty. Had 2 men on and 1 out, but back-to-back flyouts ended that threat in the early goings of this matchup. Again, back-to-back groundouts to third and a flyout to left ended anything for the 16s in the top of the first inning as they were retired in order. But again, 16s have not had an easy road to get to the championship game. Of course, they dropped their first contest. They fell to Winona 6-0, then had to defeat New Prague, which they did 10-0, then defeated Rochester, then go on to take on Andover and Elk River, both of which ended up being wins. 3 games yesterday alone, which was a long day at the ball field, but a long day at the ball field will beat anything compared to that. As first pitch into Bergeson in for a ball as Lutkin rocks and fires towards home plate, and that will make it 2-0 the count. Lutkin, after getting behind at 3-2 on the first batter of the game, was able to get quick outs in Hellerman and Adams. Bergeson's 2-0 fouled off, splits the difference at 2 balls and a strike. The enthusiastic attendance here today, a bunch of youngsters running around. Foul balls are not going to be hard to recover here at the state tournament. As the 2-1 from Lutkin on the way. Cue shot left field and make that right field, but fouled off. Was tailing away in the process as that ball. Not quite sure if it stayed in the field of play or it actually ended up in the bullpen. Went down the right field line. Can see it now, and players are going to wait just a second here to allow the player to pick up the ball, and then they'll close the bullpen gate down the right field side. 2-2 the count to Bergeson, who did aid the 16s in making it this far with a nice performance yesterday. Strike 3 goes down looking, does Bergeson, tailed just off that outside edge of the plate for the first out of the inning. 4 straight retired to open up the game for Lutkin, with Stahlberger coming to the plate. First lefty of the day as well for the 16s coming to bat. Saying Bergeson was a big aid in that contest to at least against Elk River to make sure they got as far as they did. First pitch into Stahlberger off plate for a ball. Zier waits on deck. Stahlberger also a big factor with the glove that he had yesterday. In first strike now at even at 1 ball and a strike. Thing about these two teams also, constant communication defensively. You don't see that too often. Swung on and missed. Make sure everybody's in the proper position at 1 ball and 2 strikes in the event that ball should be put in play. It's one thing you see about these two teams and the programs that they do run. The 1-2 from Lutkin gets away from the catcher. Set up outside, pitch went back inside. Now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gets his sign, does Lutkin. Shakes off the first, now gets the one that he wants. Kicks and fires towards home, fouled off. And goes out of play once again. I don't know if that one will quite reach the hockey rink or not, but we'll see. He's taking a peek over at tournament headquarters on the far side or the left field line. There was a couple foul balls that landed on top. Didn't quite see if they still made it. Ground ball to short. Long run for the shortstop. Will fire over to first and in time. Nice play there from Rossman over to Wirtz for the second out of the inning. Had to come in. He was playing back defensively, but still enough control on it to get a good throw over to Davis Wirtz. Now makes it 5 put down in a row to open up the game. Dane Zier at the plate now for the Cold Spring 16s. And quite see if those foul balls came down off the roof over at tournament headquarters, but not quite seeing them, so they must have retrieved them at some point. In for a strike to start off against Zier. 0-1 the count with Lutkin. Kicks and fires, swung on and missed into the glove of Holthaus. Fall behind 0-2 for Zier. Lutkin gets the sign that he wants from the full windup, works to that near far right side of the rubber. He'll wind and fire towards home, and just off the plate there. It could have been the punch out that he wanted to bring it to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kicks a little dirt off the mound there. The 1-2 from Lutkin. Line drive out to left field and dumps in for a base hit. Roush decided to play back on it for the first hit of the contest for the Cold Spring 16. Snaps the streak of 5 in a row set down. And now with 2 outs in the inning, a man over at first for the Cold Spring 16s and brings up Carter Simon, the right fielder. First pitch off the plate for a ball there. It's bluffing the throw was Holthouse, keeping tabs on the runner over at first base and Zaire. The 1-0, make it 1-1. Tyson Zahar over on the far side, or at least waiting his turn to bat if it should go past Carter Simon with 2 outs. The 1-1, delayed steal, throw down to second is going to be in time and caught him stealing. As it was a delayed steal, but a great throw and a great set also in the process there from Hess to put the tag on for the 3rd out of the inning. A man reaches, but still the minimum faced through an inning and a half. Cold Spring 15s look to answer back with the bats coming up here from the VFW State Tournament in St. Cloud. Despite a threat in the bottom of the first inning, the Cold Spring 15s come up empty after getting a couple of men on with 1 out. But now it'll be the pitcher to do his work, doing his part on the mound. Now wants to do it with the bat. Lincoln Lutkin, Easton Hess, and Gavin Roush scheduled to bat here in the bottom of the second inning. 0-0 our score. The Cold Spring 16s taking on the Cold Spring 15s. VFW State Championship Baseball Tournament game as the first pitch into Lutkin in for a strike against Logan Adams in his second inning of work. Couple of walks in that first inning for Adams. Pitch up and in now, even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Despite giving up the first hit of the contest last half inning, Lutkin was able to get some help from his defense with a delayed caught stealing. Elevated high over the head. Lutkin will bring it to 2-1. So through those 2 innings, inning and a half, 2 on the mound there for Lutkin, he has faced the minimum of 6 batters. 2-1 to Lutkin. Adams winds and fires towards home, fouled off, and will reach the parking lot area to even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The way this matchup is going and how these two teams face each other, 1 run may do it today. It's all a question of which team is going to fold in first to allow that run. The 2-2 in for strike 3 goes down looking does Lutkin. First strikeout of the day for Adams and first out of the bottom of the second inning. Hess comes to plate now. Not too many left-handers to each side, at least in the lineups. Both first basemen left-handed. Cue shot, right side, scooped up by the first baseman, over in time. As Hess is retired on the ground ball to Stahlberger with Adams covering over at first, 2 outs. Gavin Roush will come to the plate here. looking to extend things with Jamison Van Looy waiting on deck. First pitch from Adams. Ground ball to short. Scooped up. Caught him awkwardly. High throw and just over the head as it'll be. Advancing to second on the throw, but will not be in time. As Roush will make his way down to second base after a high throw from the shortstop in. As he had the ground ball, I don't know, maybe fielding it, and Zahar kind of awkwardly scooped up the ball, then threw over to first, and that's where everything started to fall apart from that point. So reaching on the error is Roush with Van Looy at the plate. Another threat here for the 15s. Here in the bottom of the second inning. In for a strike now for Van Looy. You'll watch it go in. It's his signs down from his third base coach. 0-1 on the right fielder. Adams takes a peek back at second base. Defense keeping tabs on the runner and Roush. Kicks and fires does Adams. Fouled off behind home plate to fall behind at 0-2 at the top of the order. And Crew Rugemer waiting on deck. Van Looy would love to do his job, not only getting on base, driving in a run, but also turning over the lineup to the top here with Rugemer waiting on deck. 0-2 as Adams looks back at second. Holds from the set, looking into home plate. Now takes a peek back before he kicks and fires towards home. Excuse me, swing on the infield, and it'll be caught. As a threat denied once again. Fly ball picked up there by Bergeson, and that will do it through 2 innings. 0-0 our score. We head to the top of the third. Cold Spring 16s versus Cold Spring 15s here from the VFW State Tournament in St. Cloud. Top of the third inning with the Cold Spring 16s getting Carter Simon, Tyson Zahar, and also Jax Hohenstein scheduled to bat here after getting a little bit of help on the other side after a defensive error. Put a man in scoring position for the 15s, but getting some help with the bats and a soft line drive picked up by the second baseman in Bergeson, with Lutkin still facing only 6 batters through 2 innings. First pitch into Carter Simon, in for a ball. It was a delayed steal on the part of Dane Zire that led to the redo of this at-bat here with Carter Simon as he fouls off a pitch to make it 1-1. Defense still playing at normal depth, including the third baseman and Rugemer playing even with the bag at third. Swung on and foul tipped. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 strikeout so far through the 2 innings of action for Lutkin on the mound. Like to add another one. The 1-2. Chopper. Second base side. Over. Throw is in time. Good stretch from the first baseman in Wirtz. Hess cut it on the high hop for the first out of the inning. Tyson Zahar in there. Another right-handed batter with Hohenstein waiting on deck. Lutkin's first offering in for a strike. Lutkin's second offering down and in. Scoots behind home plate. Chase the umpire away to get the ball at 1 ball and 1 strike for him. Zahar very patient at the plate here with the bat on the shoulder before Lutkin engages the 1-1. Swung on a miss, now make it 1-2. And even after that first batter Lutkin did face, he has filled up the strike zone. All but one batter's had 2 strikes on him. Now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Besides putting the ball in play, and defense has reciprocated thus far. The 2-2 popped up right field side. Drifting in is going to be making the catch in Van Looy for the second out of the inning. Easy fly ball opportunity for Jameson Van Looy out in right. That'll bring up the bottom of the order now, and Jax Hohenstein, the center fielder.
Center fielder Jax Hohenstein.
2 outs now, only 1 hit so far between both teams. Couple of base runners, couple of walks. Bunt third base line will be picked up foul by Rugemer, trying to catch the defense sleeping on that one, but could not keep the ball in play from Hohenstein. Cooper Notch waiting for his turn to bat this half inning as much as he would like to. It's the only batter so far that has gotten to a 3-ball count. In for a strike now at 0-2 on Hohenstein. The 0-2 delivery from Lutkin. Just off the plate, everybody was ready to hit back in the dugout, but we'll get at least one more pitch. Just enough off, says the umpire. Lutkin with the 1-2. Soft line drive into right field. That'll dump in for a base hit. Scoots off the glove of the right fielder Van Looy, but Hohenstein not drifting any further than that. And we'll bring in a hit for the Cold Spring 16s. Then I'll bring up Cooper Notch, as we had mentioned. Only batter so far today that's gotten to a 3-ball count on Lutkin. Notch will dig in that right-handed batter's box. Now the runner over at first, and Hohenstein, a little excuse-me swing to right field for a base hit. First offering to Notch is in for a strike. Turns that lineup over with Hellerman waiting on deck. Ground out to third back in the first inning for Notch, and again, was working the count in the process. Couple of foul balls in there also. Now makes it 1-1. Even taking a peek down at first was the catcher in Holthaus. From the stretch, winds and fires. Line drive out to right field. Van Looy in a couple steps, makes the catch for the third out of the inning. Nothing nullified once again here. Even after with a 2-out hit, we head to the bottom of the third. We remain scoreless. Cold Spring 15s look to strike first here in the championship game. VFW State Baseball Tournament from Dick Putz Field in St. Cloud. Couple of 2-out hits on each side have not provided much action other than that here through 2.5 innings. Bottom of the third, it will be the top of the order in Rugemer, Crone, and Wirtz for the Cold Spring 15s, with Logan Adams out for inning number 3 on the day. First time through the order, just a strikeout and a few flyouts, but even a couple of walks mixed in there for Logan Adams on the mound here. See what adjustments have been made since the first go-around with the 15's lineup for Cold Spring. Pitch number 1 in there was taken the whole way was Rugemer as he was walking about halfway up the third baseline as the pitch was coming in. Starts off with a strike at 0-1. Adams with the high hands, rocks and fires towards home plate. Swung on and missed, wasn't quite sure on it, was Rugemer to make it 0-2. Not wasting much time there in between as Rugemer quick check down at third base for the signs there. The 0-2 from Adams on the way. Out and away, try to get him to chase. Did not bite, did Rugemer. Getting an extra second to think things over as Crone will chase after the ball to get away from the catcher. Adams resets. Now Rugemer resets. Go here with the 1-2 on its way from Adams. Changes up the timing on the delivery and into the glove for a foul tip strikeout. Second of the day for Adams, and out number 1 here in the bottom of the third inning. And we'll get Nolan Crone, who did work a walk last time up of the 2 lefties that will go back-to-back here in this lineup. Near the top for the 15s. Notch over at third base in on the grass, just keeping tabs on Crone to see if he might think about a 1-out bunt opportunity. 1-0 the count on Crone. Pitch elevated. Make it now 2-0 the count. Just a quick check to reassess everything with a 2-0. Adams from the full windup, kicks and fires, swung on over the top of, split the difference at 2 balls and a strike. 1 out here in the bottom of the third inning. Adams 2-1 delivery on its way, down and away, as maybe if he would have caught him, might have gotten the benefit of it, but a 3-ball count once again to Crone. Got to 3-1 before he was walked back in the first inning. Looking to do the same thing with Davis Wirtz waiting on deck. (3-1) from Adams is in and lined out to right field. Popping over is the center fielder and makes the catch. Hohenstein will make that catch for out number 2. And I'll bring up Davis Wirtz, who also walked his last plate appearance back in the first inning. Wirtz again, a walk back in the first inning of the 2 lefties in the lineup here near the top of the order. Kicks and fires does Adams, out and away for a 1-0 start. Wirtz did get to 3-2 on his count before drifting his way over to first base. Adams doesn't like the first sign he likes, so he gets another one just outside, bringing it to 2-0. Holthouse waiting on deck with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third inning. I mentioned earlier, it's going to be which team makes the first mistake that leads to probably the only run that's going to matter here in this contest. 7-inning ball game. This championship contest. Line drive down the left field line and foul. First strike against in Davis. In the ball in play with a 2-0 count. The way it'll work is here, since the Cold Spring 15s have not lost a game in the tournament. If they win this game, they are state champions. But if the 16s continue to play the way they have been playing, as the 2-1 is on its way and elevated, now bringing it to 3-1. So if the 16s win this game, then we will play a winner-take-all second contest for the state championship, which will happen pretty much right after the conclusion of the first game. Of course, they'll have to drag the infield, repaint the lines and everything, and go from there. The 3-1 from Adams to Wirtz. Line drive left field, hanging up there and almost over the head of the left fielder and Fredine, but he snags it for the 3rd out of the inning. Heart palpitations aplenty on that line drive, but we played 3 in the books. It's 0-0, top of the 4th, coming your way here next with the VFW State Baseball Tournament Championship from St. Cloud. A little defensive trickery to close things out in the bottom of the 3rd inning, but we still remain scoreless. 0-0, top of the 4th inning from the VFW State Baseball Tournament Championship game between the Cold Spring 15s and the Cold Spring 16s. 16s will bat here. They'll go 2, 3, 4 in the order with Ethan Hellerman, Logan Adams, and Christian Bergeson. Paul Vold here this afternoon, or soon to be afternoon, thanks to the work of Bitstream Digital Media. Donna and Ryan Lommel bringing you the coverage here from our triple header yesterday and potential doubleheader today. We'll see how that all works out. Last half inning, ground ball, third base side, picked up by Rugemer on the first pitch. Throw over to first in time. Pitching efficiency, 1 pitch, 1 out. In the top of the 4th inning, brings up Adams, who flew out to left. Back at the 1st inning. It's back-to-back 5-3 putouts as Hellerman today has been peppering that left side. Logan Adams would like to help his cause, doing his part on the mound, would like to do it at the plate in the process. Inside pitch number 1 for a strike right around that belt area. Lincoln Lutkin out for inning number 4. Could not pull the trigger on the swing was Adams. Falls behind 0-2. Just 1 strikeout on the day for Lutkin. 2 for Adams, who currently stands at the plate. Fouled off at home plate there. Quickly announced by our home plate umpire that he was still in the box when he fouled that off. Oh, and 2 remains the count on Adams. With 1 out here in the top of the 4th. 2 hits for the 16s, 1 for the 15s. Now make it 3 hits for the 16s, and Adams goes the other way. Center fielder cuts it off before he quickly tosses it back in. It's a 1-out single for Adams. And a runner on with Christian Bergeson heading to the plate. A courtesy runner over at first base for the 16s. That'll be number 6, Alex Moctezuma, over at first base to take in the running for the pitcher in Logan Adams. So Moctezuma will get his first opportunity here this tournament, at least that we've seen, him to run for the pitcher. Pitch just off the plate, but catches that outside part of the zone there for a strike on Bergeson, who struck out looking back in the 2nd inning. 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning. Third baseman Rugemer still playing, about a step behind on the infield. Squares up to bunt early on, gave it away as Rugemer was crashing in over at third base there, taking a peek at the signs in the process also. Bunt taken off there as Bergeson goes the other way. Ground ball, second base, throws to second in time for the first. And did he get the second out? Yes, he did! Double play to finish off the top of the 4th. And defense aplenty going on here with this matchup. And a great double play as we get a look here at the replay. High chopper, spin back the other way towards second base from the shortstop over to first, and just held on to the bag did Wirtz. 3.5 in the book, 0-0 our score here from the VFW State Tournament in St. Cloud. A 4-6-3 double play to finish off the top of the fourth inning. Cold Spring 16s come up on the short end there once again on the bats. It'll be Braden Holthouse, Easton Rossman, and Lincoln Lutkin to bat for the Cold Spring 15s here at the bottom of the fourth inning from Dick Putz Field. VFW Baseball State Tournament Championship game. A season that started with 62 teams spread across the state of Minnesota, representing out of 56 VFWs as pitch number one to Holthouse is in for a strike. Have whittled down to two. Two teams from one VFW. The 0-1 in there, swung on a miss by Holthouse to fall behind 0-2 for Logan Adams. Did his part, at least dumping a single into right field, but then a ground ball double play from Bergeson behind him in the order to end any sort of threat. 0-2. Adams rocks and fires, changing up the timing inside, and was ready for the throw around was the catcher in Hellerman, but ball number one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 strikeouts on the day for Adams. Would like to make it number 3 right here. And did he hold up on the swing? Checks down first base side. No, he did not. He held up. Back-to-back pitches that have been oh so close, as Holthouse has been very close to recording the first out here today in this fourth inning of the bottom half of the frame. The 2-2 from Adams. Fouled off at home plate. Got a piece of Holthouse. We'll get an extra second here. Of course, the catching counterpart of Hellerman. Step back in. Adams taking that long look in yet again. Slows down the windup, kicks and fires. Ground ball is short, just beyond the reach of the shortstop is Ahar. And into center field, a leadoff base hit for Holthouse. That brings up Easton Rossman, the shortstop here for the 15s. First time today that the 15s have led off with a base hit. Rossman will come to the plate here. Gets the signs down over at third base. Cooper Notch already expecting something to go on, so he'll take a peek in. Snap throw down to first. He's out over at first. No, then he dropped the ball. It was a premature call as the first baseman, Stahlberger, had the runner dead to rights but could not hang on to the ball with the pickoff attempt. It was a great pickoff attempt by Adams, and that would have been a lifesaver. Another snap throw. Did he get him this time? No, could not hang on to the ball. Ball gets away, but not far enough away for Holthouse to think about going down to second. Well, that pickoff throw over at first has been money back-to-back times. Shorten up that lead by Holthouse over at first just to be safe. Notch over at third base, playing a step behind. Squaring up the bunt, popped up on the infield, drops the ball. Adams going to throw down to second and will not get the out recorded, just a high throw, and everybody is going to be safe. Holthouse will make it down to second on the fielder's choice over at first as Rossman put down the bunt, would have been caught, mishandled by Adams, thought about first, threw down to second on a high throw, and the smaller glove of the shortstop could not get enough on it to bring down the out. So now we get a conversation on the mound. 2 on, nobody out. Lincoln Lutkin, the pitcher, due up here. Conversation on the mound, probably just making sure everybody knows what they're doing here, as they're probably going to be expecting the bunt. And the conversation just between third and home, the conversation taking place about what we're doing here with this next set of pitches. Lutkin and Hess due up back-to-back with Rossman over at first. Holthouse leading off the inning with a base hit. All of which could have been nullified if a pickoff throw over at first would have been caught the first time and secured. It would have been caught a second time. We'd have 1 out and most likely nobody on. And brings up Lincoln Lutkin. Corner infielders playing up, middle defenders playing back, holding the runner at second base just a little bit close with Lutkin at the plate. To strikeout victim back in the second inning is Adams holding from the set position. Squares up the bunt. Pickoff throw into center field as the runner from third is going to head his way to home plate. And the first run of the game is across the board. Holthouse will come in on the throwing error on the pickoff attempt to second base, and he was sent the entire way. Without a ball being put in play, we've got runners everywhere and nobody out. The run coming in on an error on the throwing error to center field from the pitcher. So Rossman now stands at second. Lutkin, with a man in scoring position, was asked to bunt on the first pitch. Wheel play taking on, ball thrown to the backstop, and runner will move up to third. Ball being thrown all over the yard here in the early goings here of this inning. First run comes across for the 15s. Defensively, the wheel play was on. Everybody was heading to their designated spots. Now we've got infield drawn in, nobody out. And Lutkin still at the plate. He's almost been taken out twice on back-to-back pitches and a run coming across. Lutkin, ball scoots away from the catcher. Here comes the runner and Rossman, and he'll come in standing. 2 runs have come across with the ball leaving the infield. And a 2-0 count for Lincoln Lutkin. Now it started off the inning with a base hit from Holthouse and ended up with him scoring, and then his counterpart behind him, Easton Rossman, also scoring. Without a ball leaving the infield, off the bat. Ground ball, third base side. Notch will kick and fire over to first in time. And the first out of the inning is recorded. And that will bring up Easton Hess. A couple pickoff throws that weren't successful. A bunt that was dropped by the 16s, by the pitcher in Adams. And then a couple of pickoff throws to second base, followed by a couple of throws to the backstop, have led to a pair of runs. First pitch into Hess is in for a strike, who grounded over to first base with the pitcher covering back over in the second inning. At least 2 for sure errors this inning for the 16s. This one up and in, and curling out of the way was Hess. Make that note here as we take a look between innings. 15's only 1 recorded hit thus far. Ground ball, second base, 1 hopper. Over to Stahlberger for the second out of the inning. Ferguson. And brings up Gavin Roush. Roush reaching last time on a throwing error from the shortstop in Zahar. That was back in the second inning. Pitch inside, hits him right in the ribs. He'll wear it and head his way down to first base. Hit by pitch both times today. Both times he'll reach today. And a runner on and 2 outs. Brings up the bottom of the order in Jamison Van Looy. Just gets a quick second to reprieve himself. Sure everything's okay there for Roush. Roush over at first base now with 2 outs. Signs being sent in. The third base coach. 2 runs have come across. So far just 1 hit this game. Runner takes off. Fly ball center field drifting back is Hohenstein. He'll settle under it. Make the 3rd out. After what was an inning to forget for Logan Adams and the Cold Spring 16s. They'll get a chance to get back coming up in the top of the 5th inning. It's 2-0, the Cold Spring 15s on the Cold Spring 16s here from the VFW State Tournament Championship in St. Cloud. Top of the fifth inning coming up with the Cold Spring 16s coming to plate, but the defense for the 16s giving up 2 runs on a couple of botched pickoff throws and a couple of wild pitches that have plated 2 runs on just 1 hit back in that bottom of the 4th inning to give the 15s the first lead of the contest. And it'll be the combination of Noah Stahlberger, Dane Zier, and Carter Simon scheduled to bat here in the top of the 5th inning. Lincoln Lutkin out for inning number 5. Just only 2 hits given up on the day for him. Make that 3 hits on the day. First pitch swinging, drifting back and jumping up and making the catch was Gavin Roush. He'll make that jumping catch on the first pitch, and first out of the inning was Zier now coming to the plate.
Number 9, designated hitter, Dane Zier.
Zier today reaching on the base hit back in the 2nd inning, but was ultimately caught stealing to finish off that 2nd inning. First pitch on him is a ball. 1-0 the count. 1-0 from Lutkin. Line drive out to left center field. Drifting back is Roush. It's going to run. It's going to hit some ivy out there. Rolling to the wall. It's going to be a double and sneaks into the ivy and an automatic ground rule double for Dane Zier with 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. And trying to get something rolling here for the 16s. Ball has completely disappeared out of the ivy. Roush and Crone out and left and center trying to find that ball and completely disappeared. A well-struck ball there from Zier to create something with 1 out. Now brings up Carter Simon, the right fielder. Grounded out to second, his only plate appearance of the day. Pitch down and away on him, makes it a 1-0 start. Now just the 4th hit on the day given up by Lutkin on the mound. He'll go into the set position. Looks back at second as his shortstop drifts back. Line drive left field in for a base hit. They're going to hold the runner at third, not quite far enough for the throw to get away, and it goes a throwing opportunity all the way to home plate. Runners at the corners with 1 out on the base hit from Carter Simon. And ball gets a little bit further out, but luckily enough, the throw was cut off by the by the catcher. Brings up Tyson Czar. Throw over to first base, back in safely. Flew out to right field, did Zahar last time he was up. That was in the 3rd inning. Lutkin's first offering to him, fouled off behind home plate, 0-1. Hohenstein waits on deck. Base hit to his credit today. Couple of hits after a fly ball out to left field and an out for the 16s. Trying to show a little bit of life here, even down 2 runs. Down and away, makes it 1-1. Lutkin takes a peek over at first before he sets. Runner takes off for second. Throw down is going to be wide of the mark, and they are going to try and cut down the runner at second base. Runner takes off from third, heading towards home, and he's not going to get there as he blows up the catcher in the process. Run comes across. Ball scoots away. All the way from first to third goes Simon. And the 16s have plated their first run of the day. As the catcher in Holthouse shaken up just a little bit as him and Zier met at home plate. Get a look here at at least the replay that was, and they're talking things over here with the catcher in Holthouse, make sure that he's all right, shaken up. Contact behind home plate as the ball actually scooted away, which allowed the runner in Simon to move up from caught in there as it was a hit and run situation. At least that's what it was initially. At least a stolen base attempt. Give him a couple of warm-ups, and Holthouse says he's good to go. The run does come across here to split the deficit at 2-1. But a runner at third and one out for Zahar. Like to get a ball out of the infield to at least allow your runner to over at third to score. Corner infielders are drawn in. Swung on and missed. Count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hohenstein waits on deck. Now they're going to bring the middle infielders in as well to completely draw in the infield. Anything towards them? Down away. Brings it to 3-2. Anything on the ground there, they're going to try and cut down the runner, or at least keep him over at third base. The 3-2, just over the head of the second baseman into right field, and the game is tied. An RBI single for Tyson Zahar. And it is a tie game at 2-2. Now make it 3 straight hits for the Cold Spring 16s with 1 out in the top of the 5th. Lutkin with a runner over at first. This one at the belt, but for a strike for Hohenstein. Hohenstein a single back in that 3rd inning. Keep the inning moving. And a little defensive miscue to the 15 side has led to a run. Snap throw, mishandled as he couldn't quite get a clean exchange from glove to ball. Ball thrown away yet again. Just getting a little too ahead of ourselves. Adrenaline pumping here as Holthouse trying to get the ball back to his pitcher. Almost threw a ball away. 1-1 the count on Hohenstein. The runner over at first in Zahar. Pitch about shoulder level, makes it now 2-1. Both teams like to get the bases going for sure with the runners. And we've seen it so far and how it's played into the scoring today. Swung on and missed by Hohenstein. Makes it 2-2. The 2-2 from Lutkin. Down and in. Shifting back the feet a little bit was Hohenstein. Back-to-back 3-2 counts now as Lutkin laboring here as of late. Love to get another ground ball to get out of the inning. 3-2, ground ball, second base. Not going to be strong enough for a double play, but we'll get the out over at first as the runner moves up to second base and will be 2 outs and a man in scoring position again for the Cold Spring 16s, and brings up the top of the order in Cooper Notch. If anything, a productive out for Hohenstein to at least advance the runner, and you'd love for Notch, if you're the 16s, to bring him in, the runner and Zahar, and that make it. Threw the baseball out. Looks like it's no good anymore, says our home plate umpire. I've always had a big problem with pitchers asking for a different ball and balls being thrown out, especially at these different levels, but I'll get off my soapbox and get back to the game here. Notch today ground out to third and a fly out to right field to his credit. Fouls went off over towards the opposing team's dugout, making 0-1. The 6th man to come to plate here this half inning for the 16s. It started off as a out recorded, 3 straight hits, a double, and a couple of runs scored with the ball being thrown around the infield yet again. Has plated 2, now makes it 1-1, including an RBI base hit for Tyson Zahar, who stands at second base currently. The 1-1 into left field, a base hit. They're going to try and send Zahar around from second base. Throw comes in. It's probably not going to be in time. Gets away from the cutoff man into second base. And Cooper Notch comes through with 2 outs and a lead for the Cold Spring 16s. An RBI base hit for him as he just took the ball into left field and willed across that run to score. And the 16s have taken a 3-2 lead with Cooper Notch now standing at second base. And that'll draw some action out of the dugout for the 15s. Conversation taking place. Maybe not quite time yet for a pitching change, but we'll see as we are in the top of the 5th inning. Now, if the 16s find a way to win this contest, winner-take-all second game would follow. Pretty close in time. I'm pretty sure they'll get the whole staff out to at least rake the infield, water it down, repaint the lines and everything, and then tee it up and go. So at least be a little bit of time in between. Of course, then we got to get our lineups and we got to reset everything. Broadcast has to transition as well. It's not just show and go here. There's a process. Be a whole different broadcast as well coming up here. But we still got a lot of baseball in store. 2 outs in the inning. Man on second base and brings up Ethan Hellerman. Pitch on him down and away. Hellerman, a pair of ground outs to third for him. Lutkin trying to get through the inning with just giving up the 3 runs thus far. 1-0. Evens it at 1 ball and 1 strike. RBI base hits for Tyson Zahar and Cooper Notch, including a run that was manufactured with some nifty base running from the 16s. Down and in. Swallowed up by the catcher in Holthouse to make it 2-1. Lutkin takes a peek back at second before he delivers the 2-1 pitch. Ground ball to short, scooped up, thrown over to first, in time to Wirtz, and the 3rd out is recorded, but not after 3 runs have come across for the Cold Spring 16s. They take the lead at 3-2, bottom of the 5th inning coming up. Cold Spring 15s look to respond from the VFW State Championship game in St. Cloud. One whole inning of playing as manufactured 5 total runs. A pair of runs coming in for the Cold Spring 15s in the bottom of the 4th after just 1 hit and a couple of throwing errors resulted in those first runs of the contest. While on the other side for the Cold Spring 16s, they used the ball and, well, they took it out into the outfield and scored a few times, make that 3 total runs to manufacture a 3-2 lead, making it now 3-2 Cold Spring 16s taking on the Cold Spring 15s in the VFW State Tournament Championship game. Bottom of the 5th coming up, and the top of the order with Crew Rugemer along with Nolan Crone and Davis Wirtz. A fly out and a strikeout to Rugemer as he foul tips that into the glove there. First offering from Logan Adams, who's out for his 5th inning of work. See how long the leash is going to be here for Adams after a long inning he had. Now, if anything, it'd be what the team would need, a quick inning out of Adams so that way the bats can get back going. I don't know if they get much action after that out of Adams. Ground ball, third base sidewell foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Again, it wasn't for a couple of throwing errors, a couple of pickoff attempts from Adams that resulted in what should have been at least 1 out for sure, and then a dropped bunt attempt, and then a couple of pickoff attempts that ended up into center field that manufactured both runs in that fourth inning. Swung on and missed on high and elevated. Strikeout victim again is Rugemer for the first out in the fifth inning. And now we'll bring to the plate here first of back-to-back lefties and Nolan Crone, who's flew out to center and also worked a walk here today in both plate appearances. Adams gets a long look in towards his catcher. Slows down his timing in for a strike to open up the at-bat against Crone. Shakes off the first and the second. Third one is going to be the good one, says Adams, so he'll wind and fire towards home plate. Gets that strike in there to get ahead 0-2 against Crone. Likes what he sees, says Adams, so he'll go through the full windup yet again. The 0-2, ground ball, third base side, scooped up on the short hop. Stahlberger will touch the bag himself. 2 outs in the inning. 16s get those 2 quick outs and brings up Davis Wirtz. A walk and a fly out to left field for both of his plate appearances today is also one thing you don't see a whole lot out of, but Cold Spring does it. Is the pregame warm-ups, of course, working on a lot of those short hops that we just saw Stahlberger work to perfection. And it's the little things fundamentally that can mean the biggest difference, and you just saw a case in point on that. Adams' first delivery in for a strike on Wirtz. Takes a quick peek back at the umpire and says, yes, that was a strike. Another lefty here for the 15s. The 0-1 from Adams. Fly ball out to right field is going to hang up enough, and it will for a base hit. As Simon will quickly toss that back in. Second time today that Wirtz has reached. Now 2 outs in the inning, and we'll bring Braden Holthouse. Got dusted up a little bit there. The collision at home plate that led to one of those 3 runs for the 16's last half inning. Got a second to collect himself and then got a couple warm-up pitches and said he was good to go. So Adams will hold back from the stretch as Wirtz with a short lead over at first. Kick and fire towards home, delayed, and in for a strike there to open up the at-bat against Holthouse. Bluffed the run, did Wirtz over at first. 2 outs this inning. 0-1 the count. Braden Holthouse. Long looking again for the pitcher in Adams. Takes a peek over at first there. Second time around. Now we'll go back to the set position. Long pause there. Runner takes off for a second. Ground ball to third, and Notch will pick it up. Throw over to first, and in time for the third out of the inning. See if the 16s can build on top of the momentum that they had from the last half inning on the bats. We'll bring you the top of the 6th coming up. The Cold Spring 16s on top of the Cold Spring 15s from the VFW State Tournament Championship in St. Cloud. Cold Spring 16s will come to plate here after sending 7 last half inning against Lincoln Lutkin, manufacturing 3 runs on 3 hits, a couple RBI base hits, and of course an error in the process, and it will be the combination of Logan Adams, Christian Bergeson, and Noah Stahlberg to bat in the top of the 6th inning for the Cold Spring 16s. 16s again having to fight their way out of the secondary bracket, if you will, after dropping their first game against Winona. They've had to get wins over New Prague, Rochester, Andover, and Elk River. Now, those last 3 games against Rochester, Andover, and Elk River all coming on Saturday alone. And they have to do it twice if they want to claim state champions against the Cold Spring 15s. Lutkin's first offering to his pitching counterpart in for a ball, reaching on a base hit, and then also a fly out to left today has been Adams. Now brings it to 2-0. On to action to either side in each bullpen so far. Any changes that might come through might be just internally on the field. Now brings it to 3-0 the count on Adams. Adams just standing there expecting it for a strike, which it will be. Now he can refocus and jump back in. The 3-1 from Lutkin to Adams. Inside and be ball 4, leadoff walk to start things off for the Cold Spring 16s. Bergeson will come to the plate here. Strikeout looking, and then also grounded into a double play back in the 4th inning. Third baseman Rugemer takes a few steps in from his position to see the bunt, which will be squared up. Jabbing at it and missing was Bergeson. So the 16s trying to use that small ball again to at least hopefully set something up to extend the lead. But the 15s, exactly what's going to be happening here. Squaring up to bunt again is Bergeson. He'll foul it off with 2 strikes. That pitch up and away. Now 0-2 for Bergeson. And the signs now for Bergeson over there. He'll settle back in. Short lead over at first for Adams. Lutkin delivers. Swung on a miss and a strikeout. Swinging this time as Bergeson is retired. Throw down to second is going to be not in time. And getting himself into scoring position is Adams as he took off. Get a look at the replay here. Did the old hit and run, at least a delay on the steal there as avoiding and using the swim move. Logan Adams, athletics to say the least. Gets that stolen base and pushes himself into scoring position with 1 out. Jumped over the tag, had to swim past the secondary tag from the shortstop. Fouled off some concrete and out of play. That one's definitely towards the parking lot. 0-1 is Stahlberger. Noah Stahlberger, a ground out to short and a fly out to left on the lefty. Adams still standing at second base, fouled off behind home plate again, falling behind 0-2. Lutkin would like to get this out here without the runner advancing with Dane Zier. Roped a double into left center, his last plate appearance that started off the 3-run inning for the 16s. Just off the plate. Maybe a little set something up there to keep an eye on Adams, possibly taking off for third there, way ahead at 1-2. The 1-2 on its way. Swing, and a liner right to third, and Adams quickly back to the bag. And now makes it 2 outs in the inning, and they're going to get a courtesy runner out, and that'll bring up Moctezuma again to give Adams as much time in between. And the line out to the third baseman will bring 2 outs this inning. And Dane Zier again started off the 5th inning after the first out with a double into left. Drop ball over to third in time for the 3rd out of the inning. So what could have been a promising start is nullified, and it is a 3-2 lead heading to the bottom of the 6th inning. Cold Spring 15 still got work to do against the Cold Spring 16s. That be here from the VFW State Championship from Dick Putz Field in St. Cloud. Bottom of the 6th inning coming up here. Cold Spring 16s lead the Cold Spring 15s by the score of 3-2. All those runs coming in about a little over an inning of work. Now seeing some action down to the Cold Spring 15s end of the bullpen right now, but Logan Adams out for his 6th inning of work. It'll be Easton Rossman, Lincoln Lutkin, and Easton Hess scheduled to bat here this half inning. First pitch in, bounced into home plate for a ball on Rossman. 1-0 the count. Rossman today reaching on a fielder's choice, coming around to score back in that 4th inning, and also fly out to center for him. Going to throw out that baseball, says Adams. And luckily, the umpire between innings got a couple of new baseballs. He'll just pocket that one. Probably see that in about 4 or 5 pitches. And then we'll do the same song and dance over again. But I'm going to get off my high horse and my soapbox, says Adams, with a 1-0 count. Looks to even things out. Ground ball to short. Picked up on a high hop over to first, and did he beat it in time? Yes, he got the out recorded. Rossman pleading his case, and good effort to either side. Sitting back was Zahar for the high hop, and records the first out of the inning. Lutkin comes to the plate now. Lutkin with a ground out to third and a strikeout looking for him today. Stopping for just a moment. Now re-engages at the plate. Adams from the full windup. Kicks and fires towards home. Line drive out to left field. Dumping in for a base hit in front of Fredine. He'll throw it back in quickly. A 1-out single for Lutkin. Well, played him over at first. Brings up Easton Hess today. Hess put the ball in play both times towards the right side on the righty.
Number 21, second baseman, Easton Hess.
From the stretch now as Adams holds on. Kicks and fires just off the plate, despite the frame there from the catcher in Hellerman. Makes it 1-0 the count. 1-0 as Adams kicks and fires. This one up and in on Hess to make it now 2-0. Notch over at third base, playing right on the edge of the grass. See if maybe, considering with a 2-0 count, if Hess squares up to bunt to put one down to move a runner over. Adams takes a peek over before he comes to the set position. No squaring up to bunt. 3-0 the count now, with Gavin Roush waiting on deck. Roush has reached both times today. Hess would like to join in on as well. It's one of 2 guys that have not reached base today so far. In for a strike as Hess stepped out of the box as the pitch was coming in. Umpire says it was a strike. 3 balls, 1 strike on Easton Hess. Adams will kick and fire. Runner takes off, and it'll be ball 4. After a single, a walk will now bring up Gavin Roush with a man in scoring position and 1 out. Roush today hit by pitch and reaching on an error back in the second inning. Help out his teammates here. But trying to tie this contest up. Adams, the runner at first and second. Shortstop makes his way back. Pitch inside and was trying to plead his case. Maybe he hit him, and no, it did not, says our home plate umpire. Starts off 1-0. It's not that Roush stands completely on top of the plate there. Last time he took one was definitely off the rib cage, I believe it was. Stuck around there. 1-0 with one out. Adams looking back at second before he'll deliver at home. Fly ball left field, very high and popped up. Fredine will try to settle under it. He does. Late tag there from second base. Not advancing are either runners, so happy if you are for Adams. Upset if you are Roush with Jameson Van Looy scheduled to bat now, which he will. 2 outs in the inning. A threat now for the 15s, still within play, but dwindling here. Each pitch that goes by. Adams looking in for his sign still. Lutkin at second, Hess over at first. Kicks and fires does Adams. Line drive out to center field, moving towards his right. Making the catch for the third out of the inning is Hohenstein. 6 in the books. It's 3-2. Cold Spring 16s on top of the 15s. Looks like a pitching change coming up here as well. We'll bring you the top of the 7th inning from the VFW State Championship coming up here with Bitstream Digital Media and being from St. Cloud. Top of the 7th coming up here for the Cold Spring 16s. Carter Simon, Tyson Zahar, and Jax Hohenstein with a pitching change out for the 15s. Get the left-hander Reese Pleckenpole. He'll be stepping in here in relief of Lutkin, who actually moves over from shortstop as well, so that'll change up the order just a hair. Pleckenpole's first pitch in at the shoulders and makes it a 1-0 count on Simon. Numbers here unofficially today for Lincoln Lutkin, 6 innings pitched, giving up 6 hits, a walk, 2 strikeouts with those 3 runs given up. Pitch inside to 2-0 on Simon. Pleckenpole out on the mound here, of course, playing for the fact that 16s find a way to hold on here or even extend this lead and hold off the 15s as a fly ball to right field. Settling under it, making the catch is Van Looy for the first out of the inning. We'll go to a winner-take-all game number 2 for the VFW State Tournament Championship. Still, fair amount of play still to go. Zahar with an RBI base hit back in the 5th inning and a fly out to right. That RBI base hit for him led to tying the game before it was Cooper Notch extending the lead and giving the 16s their first lead of the afternoon. Fouled off to make it 0-1 on Zahar. Pleckenpole from the full windup, kicks and fires, squaring up to bunt, but pulling it back as it was eye level for Zahar. Now makes it 1-1. Popped up on the infield, talking as Pleckenpole. He wants it the entire way. Makes the catch, one-handed, and he'll throw it around. 2 outs in the inning. Almost a nonchalant catch there from Pleckenpole, very reminiscent of Cliff Lee back in the World Series, I think 2009, where he just stood there, caught it, and then just took it himself. Hohenstein back up now, a base hit for him today to go along with a ground out to second. Pitch inside to him, making it a ball. So Luckin, I believe, moves back to short with Pleckenpole out on the mound. And that'll be a strike, even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Get the alignments on that coming up here. And again, just most of them internal here at this point. Pitch elevated at the belt. I believe Pleckenpole would probably go into the spot of Rossman in the batting order. Pitch up and in now to make it 3-1. For the bottom man in the order with Cooper Notch waiting on deck. Out and away for a strike. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Pleckenpole on the mound with Hohenstein looking to extend the at-bat. The 3-2 on its way. Fouled off. Caught a piece of the catcher in Holthouse. Umpire will just give him a second here. Check things over there. And yep, still a baseball last time I checked. So Hohenstein will dig his way back in. Still facing a 3 balls, 2 strike count. The payoff pitch from Pleckenpole. Popped up on the infield yet again. Behind home plate, it'll go and hits the netting. Got enough momentum behind it, and doesn't quite make it. Back to the field to play. Staring right at it, I can see it. 3-2 remains. Here it comes once again, the payoff pitch. Popped up this time. It'll stay in the field to play. Wirtz giving it a look over to the right side. Makes the catch. And we head to the bottom of the 7th. Cold Spring 15s looking to stay alive. Cold Spring 16s also looking to stay alive to play for the championship in game number 2. We'll bring you that bottom of the 7th coming up here after a quick timeout. It is 3-2, the Cold Spring 16s on top of the Cold Spring 15s in the VFW State Tournament in St. Cloud. Bottom of the 7th inning coming up here. Logan Adams trying to will his team for the Cold Spring 16s in a do-or-die winner-take-all championship game. But the Cold Spring 15s will bring the top of the order on their way. Crew Rugemer, Nolan Crone, Davis Wirtz. It's a 3-2 lead for the 16s. Rugemer at the plate today. 2 strikeouts and a flyout to right to his credit, but still a pesky player at the top of the order. First pitch on its way and just off the plate there for a ball. 1-0 the count. Adams from the full windup. He'll kick and fire towards home, up and in. Bring it 2-0. Crone on deck again has put the ball in play all 3 times today as well. Rugemer would like to get on base for the first time today alone. The 2-0. Rugemer in for a strike. Wasn't even thinking about swinging. No other changes other than of course, just the pitching change last half inning for the 15s. The 2-1. Popped up, right field side, drifting over is Simon. He'll make the catch for the first out of the inning. Rugemer retired for the 4th time today and will bring up Nolan Crone. Crone today, again, has put the ball in play, or at least has been in play all 3 times. Got a walk back in the first, a fly out to center, and grounded out to the grounded out to the first baseman back in the 5th inning. Notch over at third base, still playing on the infield grass, not going to let any sort of attempt to get a man on possible. Dumps into left field, first pitch swinging is Crone, and a man is on for the 15s. And brings up Davis Wirtz. Tying run is over at first. Wirtz today on twice with a single and a walk and a fly out to left. Definitely looking the other way. And the defense shading that way as well. Adams, snap throw over to first base, keeping tabs, making sure that he knows, that the runner knows that he's watching him. Adams shakes off the first sign, takes a quick peek over at first before he comes to the set position. Kicks and fires towards home plate, and for a strike to start off on Wirtz. Wirtz knew that was probably the only pitch that he's going to get well enough in the zone. This at bat. Adams shakes off the first sign, looks over at first. Now will come set. Runner takes off for second, squares at the bunt, throw down to second base is not going to be in time. It is cut off behind second base as well. A runner in scoring position in the process for Davis Wirtz. Count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Just a good straight steal there for Crone to get into scoring position. Dead square up to bunt was Wirtz, but pulled it back. Count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Holding from the set, looking back, now kicking and firing is Adams. Ball kicks away, but not far enough as Hellerman kept it with them, and it'll ask for a new ball for his pitcher. 2 balls and a strike now to Davis Wirtz. Braden Holthouse waiting on deck. Adams looking back at the runner in Crone at second base with Wirtz at the dish. Fly ball down the line and well out of play, leaving it at 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's been going that way here just about every time he's put the bat on the ball. Like to do that and find some outfield grass and tie this ball game up. Cold Spring 16s with a 3-2 lead on the 15s. Defense trying to keep the runner close at second base. Adams looks back, winds and fires towards home. Off the plate, just enough as Wirtz even had to double clutch there to bring the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Holthouse waits on deck for his opportunity to bat once again. Adams, long look in, gets the sign that he wants before he comes set. The lefty and Wirtz with a 3-2 count to his credit. Long pause, kicks and fires. Ground ball, shortstop, backhanded, under the glove of the shortstop into left field. They're going to hold the runner. Zahar had to double clutch as his feet weren't completely set. Nobody over at first base to cover as he caught in between Zahar. Adams and the catcher Hellerman are going to talk things over here, and it'll draw the coaching staff out as well. So the runner at first and third with still just 1 out. Tying run over at third base. It'll be interesting to see what we get here. A pitching change or not. Holthouse at the plate. With the tying run in scoring position, winning run is over at first for the 15s. But 1 ground ball away from sending it to a winner-take-all second championship game is where we stand. A long talk from the coaching staff and his infield. A tough break there for the 16's defense. Will now set it up. No change of any kind. Quick pep talk from the coaching staff. Tying run over at third with the winning run over at first. Holdhouse at the plate. Popped out to the second baseman, a base hit and a run scored with a ground out to third. Middle infield will play at their normal depth, I should say. Corner infielders playing in. Squaring up to bunt, pulling back. Runner will take off for a second, takes away the force. And the winning run is in scoring position. You want to call that defensive indifference or what have you. Nonetheless, they're going to small ball this game to death. Will Cold Springs 15s. Infield completely drawn in. A step in on the grass. Any ball on the ground, they're going to be firing home or checking towards home before. Ground ball, left field, down the line. Game is tied. Winning run coming across. And the first time since 2008, Cold Spring wins a state VFW championship. The winner, Braden Holthouse, a walk-off. 2-run single in the bottom of the 7th to win the state championship against their upperclassmen counterparts. Either way, at the end of the day, Cold Spring is champions. You wanted great baseball, you got great baseball today, and hats off to the Cold Spring 15s and the 16s as they played a fantastic state tournament with the Cold Spring 15s coming out victorious 4-3, the final score, and a championship for the city and for VFW Post 69-15. Congratulations, of course, to the Cold Spring 15s coming out victorious, and congratulations as well for the run that the 16s went through. They had to bounce back after an opening round loss, fighting all their way back, 4 games in 2 days, and had it right there until the very, very end. But a win nonetheless. Cold Spring comes out victorious. We're not done quite yet. No, we got trophy presentations and, of course, awards to be handed out, so we'll just step aside here and let our public address announcer take things over here. But, man, what a tournament it has been. And a victory for the Cold Spring 15s by the score of 4-3 over the Cold Spring 16s. We're going to hand things off here to our tournament director and public address announcer before we wrap up the broadcast here today. Again, 4-3, our final score, Cold Springs 15s over the 16s from the VFW State Tournament, Dick Putz Field at the Municipal Athletic Complex here in St. Cloud. Stick around. Award presentations coming your way up next.
Look at these. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a nice round of applause for 2 excellent baseball teams. I always say this year is the biggest thing is we need to support our veterans. Today, we have members of the Cold Spring VFW here to help with the awards. Mark Cervantes, your commander, your auxiliary and 2 other members of the Cold Spring VFW. That's program for years. So the other thing that I would like to mention my commander and my youth activities chairman, Bill Uphoff and Tom Vogel, for the work that they do every year and keeping the VFW program alive here in central Minnesota. So it's great. If all the veterans that are here could stand and be recognized, I'm sure there's a few up there that served our country. Thank you, sir. And I also like to mention, and I did it last, that important thing right across that center field fence, that VA hospital. We need to keep that going, and we need to make that the strongest hospital in the country. Mark, would you like to say? Okay, so I want to introduce Kyle Martin. He's the 7th District Commander out of the metro area, and now to give you a few words is our Department Commander, Charles Hawkins.
I want to thank you very much for allowing me to come and watch the ball game today. Thank you, moms and dads, for all support you give your children. Without you, the children could not play ball. Coaches, thank you very much for your leadership, your guidance for our young athletes of today. Brothers and sisters, siblings, now you see what the older brothers can do. Now you got to step up to the plate yourself. If you can't learn the ball, if you can't play the game, you'll learn, because the older brothers and sisters that play the ball, play the game, will be on top of you like you wouldn't believe, hovering over the top of you. Any questions about the Department of Minnesota? Again, thank you very much for allowing me to be here.
One thing that you will support your Legion, support your VFWs, support your veterans. So now Commander Hawkins and Kyle Morton will present second place medals to Cold Spring 16-year-olds. the second place plaque. We'll do the plaque to Cold Spring 16s. And now the first place medals will be presented to the Cold Spring 15s. Present the plaque, first place 15s. Before we conclude the ceremony, I think we need a nice round of applause for the 4 members of your VFW that are here today. And that concludes it. Thanks, everybody. You were great fans all weekend with the raid. Did an outstanding job, and we're happy that we got it in today. So take the day off, enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you back here next year. Thanks.
And what a finish we had to the VFW State Tournament here with the Cold Spring 15s coming out victorious on a walk-off 2-run single from Braden Holthouse in the bottom of the 7th inning to claim championship over their older counterparts in the Cold Spring 16s. VFW Post 69-15 at a Cold Spring also represented here today, not only from the players, but of course, representatives down on the field. And a big thank you to the entire crew from the host here at the St. Cloud Municipal Athletic Complex, for our public address announcer, Denny, the tournament director, as well as for Donna and Brian Lommel on part of Bitstream Digital Media. And a big thank you once again for everybody tuning in throughout the weekend and for all the contests. A big opportunity as well that if you missed out on anything, if you missed out our earlier conversation that we had with VFW State Commander Charles Hawkins Sr., you can check that out beforehand at the beginning of our broadcast. But thanks once again for tuning in. It's the Cold Spring 15s 4, Cold Spring 16s 3 state champions run through Cold Spring. But before we sign off with the broadcast here today, if you missed out on any of the plays from today's contest, check out our game highlights. For behalf of Bitstream Digital Media, I am Paul Vold. Thanks again for tuning in to the VFW State Baseball Tournament from Dick Putz Field at St. Cloud's Municipal Athletic Complex. Have a great rest of your day.